Here's something your English teacher never told you. British English has a whole secret layer sitting just underneath the version you were taught in your textbooks. And until you crack it, you will always feel like you're on the outside of the conversation looking in. You can have perfect grammar, flawless pronunciation, you can know every single irregular verb in the language. And then, someone in the pub will casually mention they got completely fobbed off by a bloke who threw them under the bus. And suddenly, you're watching your dictionary catch fire. Today, I'm giving you the phrases that real British people use every single day. And I promise you, not a single one has ever appeared in your textbook. Stick with me all the way to the end because the very last one is my personal favorite and I use it constantly. So let's get into it. Let's start with rejection because it happens to all of us and British people have a very specific way of talking about it. Your textbook will give you, I was rejected. It's correct, it's honest, but it sounds incredibly formal, doesn't it? In real life, we don't say that at all. What we say is that you got fobbed off. For example, I asked my landlord about the broken boiler for the 3rd time and I got completely fobbed off. Being fobbed off is when someone brushes you off with a weak excuse or an empty promise just to get rid of you. They haven't quite said no, but they've given you the kind of vague, half-hearted answer that both of you know means nothing is ever actually going to happen. The landlord who says, yeah, I'll look into it, and then you never hear from him again. Classic fobbing off, and honestly, very British. And then, if the rejection felt a bit more deliberate, if you were dismissed in a way that was actually a little bit rude, we'd say you were mugged off. For example, he said he'd call, but he never did. And now I feel completely mugged off. When you're mugged off, the rejection comes with a side of humiliation, and you walk away feeling a bit stupid for ever having asked in the first place. This one is very popular when it comes to dating. Right, so you've been rejected, and now let's say someone has actually gone a step further and actively sabotaged you. Your textbook would teach you to say, I've been betrayed, or I've been framed. Lovely phrases, but nobody says them unless they're standing in a courtroom drama from 1987. What a British person actually says is, I've been stitched up. For example, he told the whole team the decision was mine. I was completely stitched up. Now, where does it come from? Think about stitching like sewing. If you stitch something up, you close it off, you trap it, and you make it so it can't get out. And that's exactly what happens when someone stitches you up. They set things up so neatly, so tightly around you that you're stuck. You look guilty, you look responsible, and there's no way out. It's a trap, and someone built it for you. I love this phrase because once you know it, you will start hearing it everywhere. At work, with friends, on British TV shows. It is one of those phrases that is genuinely in constant circulation. And then there's the next one, which I think is one of the most British phrases on the whole list. Thrown under the bus. This is betrayal with a motive. Someone saw that they were about to get in trouble, looked around the room, spotted you, and made a very conscious little decision about which one of you was going to take the hit. For example, when the manager asked what happened, she threw me right under the bus. We've all met that person. Some of us have been that person. And look, we don't need to talk about it. Now, sometimes no one has betrayed you at all, and things have just quietly fallen apart on their own. Plans unravel, situations slide sideways, and something that was once perfectly fine ends up in a state nobody really planned for. Your textbook will give you things have deteriorated, which is technically correct but sounds like a medical report. In Britain, we say it's gone to pot. For example, oh, the whole plan's gone to pot. Every British summer has one specific moment where you look at the weather forecast, see rain for the next 5 days, and quietly accept the whole thing's gone to pot. Usually around the second week of July. And then there's one of my personal favourites, seen better days. It's what you say about things that are worn, tired, or past their prime, but in a way that's gentle rather than cruel. It's not quite a criticism, it's more like an acknowledgement to the fact that something has lived a good life. You'd use it about your old car, a favourite jacket, a pub that used to be brilliant and isn't quite what it was. For example, this laptop's seen better days, but I can't bring myself to replace it. There's a real fondness in this one. It's almost affectionate, and it's very, very British. The next one is an absolute classic. At some point in your life, you are going to say exactly the wrong thing at exactly the wrong moment in front of exactly the wrong person. Every British person has been there. Your textbook would say, I said something inappropriate. What we actually say is, I put my foot in it. For example, oh God, I completely put my foot in it. I asked if they were coming to the wedding, but they hadn't been invited. You can feel the wince in that phrase, can't you? You can feel the immediate regret and the desperate wish that you could rewind the last 4 seconds and try again. It's one of my absolute favorites because it is so physical. You can actually feel yourself stepping right into it with both feet in front of everyone with absolutely no way of stepping back out. Here's the good news. If you've put your foot in it badly enough and you happen to be very, very lucky, you might just escape the consequences entirely. A non-native speaker would say, I wasn't punished. What a British person would actually say is, I was let off. For example, honestly, the teacher definitely saw me, but she let me off. There's a lovely little mix of relief and mild disbelief in this one. Being let off is one of the great pleasures of British life, second only to finding a seat on the train during rush hour. And then there's got away with it, which is a slightly more self-satisfied version for when you were perhaps a little more active in your own escape. For example, I hadn't done any of the prep, but I completely got away with it. Both are said with the very specific energy of someone who knows exactly how lucky they've been. And finally, as promised, my personal favourite, the teasing, because Brits tease each other constantly. It is genuinely how we show affection in this country. If a British person stops teasing you, start worrying, something is very wrong. Your textbook would give you, he is teasing me, which is fine, but nobody really talks like that. What we actually say is, he's taking the mick. For example, oh, ignore him, he's just taking the mick. Now, taking the mick simply means making fun of someone, poking gentle fun, having a laugh at their expense, but crucially, without any real cruelty behind it. If a British person is taking the mick out of you, it almost always means they quite like you. Or we'd say, he's winding me up, which is when someone is very deliberately trying to get a reaction out of you, and they are thoroughly enjoying themselves while they do it. For example, she's been winding me up all morning and she knows it. And if you have a sibling, you know exactly what this one feels like. And there you have it. Another episode in this series, and I feel like we have barely scratched the surface, which is either a testament to how gloriously rich British English is, or a quiet sign that I need to get out more. It's probably both. Let me know in the comments which one was your favourite, and if there's a situation in your own language that English doesn't quite have a word for, I would love to hear about it. Remember, if you're looking to level up your English and really get confident, I recommend you check out my Beyond the Basics of English course. The link is in the description. Don't forget to subscribe to my free newsletter. The link is in the description. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.